Chapter 3. The Fortune Teller's Prophecy. The road led Ivy and Blob through sun-dappled forests and along crumbling trade paths that wound like forgotten songs through the countryside. They learned how to survive as a pair. Blob could squeeze into narrow places to scavenge for hidden berries, and Ivy rigged a sling from an old scarf to carry him while traveling. He became her shadow, her secret, and her only comfort. For the first time since being cast out, Ivy felt less alone. But her sense of purpose still wandered. Survival was not the same as destiny. Then, one hazy afternoon, as clouds draped the sky in gray shawls and the trees whispered of distant storms, they came upon a strange roadside outpost, a clearing dotted with colorful tents, lanterns strung from poles, and the scent of roasted chestnuts curling in the air. It was a traveling market, the kind that came and went with the wind. Merchants from distant kingdoms, jugglers, potion sellers, and bards gathered like migrating birds. Ivy, cautious but curious, pulled her cloak tighter and kept her voice gruff as she slipped between stalls. Blob nestled quietly in her sling. She bartered for dried fruit and listened in silence as minstrels sang ballads of heroes and beasts. But it was the final tent, painted deep purple with golden stars, that caught her eye. The sign above read, Madame Virella, Seer of Paths, Weaver of Fate. Ivy hesitated. Her fingers brushed her chest, where the faint sigil of Monster Tamer sometimes shimmered when Blob snuggled close. Inside the tent, the scent of lavender and smoke filled the air. An old woman sat cross-legged at a table, her skin like folded parchment, and her eyes hidden beneath a veil of shimmering lace. "I've been waiting for you," she said, voice rasping like wind over dry leaves. Ivy stiffened. "You must say that to everyone." "No," Virella whispered. "Only to those whose paths are cloaked in shadow and yet lined with fire." Ivy frowned but sat. Blob peeked out curiously from the sling. Virella tilted her head. "Ah, you're familiar. Unlikely, but not impossible." Ivy gripped the edge of the table. "What do you mean?" The old woman reached out, placing her fingers gently over Ivy's palm. Her touch was like snow melting on warm skin, both chill and comforting. "You were born with no stars. Most would call that an end." She smiled slowly. "But it is a beginning." "I don't understand." Virella drew a card from a deck of worn vellum and placed it on the table. It showed a masked figure standing before a mirrored gate. The masked one, a symbol of hidden truth. Another card, a path twisting into a city of towers. The royal capital, seat of the crown. And one more, a flame inside a cage. Hours sealed, fates crossed. She looked up. "You must travel to the royal capital." "Why?" Ivy asked, heart pounding. "They'd turn me away. I'm nobody." "You are nobody now," Virella said gently. "But you are meant to be someone. The stars did not curse you. They left space for you to choose your own shape." Blob made a small, concerned gurgle. Ivy frowned. What would I even do in the capital? You will find the first key, the seer whispered, and others like you, hidden ones, unseen ones. You will make the stars see you. Her voice lowered. But be wary. There are those who fear what they cannot control, and one among them, marked by fire and light, will try to break you before you bloom. Ivy stared at the cards, hard a knot of doubt and wonder. I don't know if I'm strong enough. You will be, Virella said. The ivy climbs because it must. She pressed a small satchel into Ivy's hands. Inside was a simple pendant, a tiny mirrored shard set into a piece of obsidian, dangling from a leather cord. For when the gate appears. Ivy stood slowly. The tent seemed darker now, as though time had coiled and shifted. Thank you, she whispered. But when she stepped outside, the entire market was gone. The clearing stood empty, grass unbent, air still, as if it had never existed. Only the pendant in her palm proved otherwise. That night, by the embers of a campfire, Ivy sat with Blob, nestled beside her. She turned the pendant over in her hands. Guess we have a new destination, she murmured. Blob burbled sleepily. Ivy stared into the flames, her thoughts tangled like roots in riverbank mud. She still didn't know what fate waited in the capital, but for the first time since she'd fled her village, she had a path, and something inside her, something wild and quiet and determined, was beginning to grow.